This is the Fallen Angel Christopher Daniels, former TNA X Division champion and former TNA World Tag Team champion, and you are listening to the TNA Cross the Line podcast. Enjoy.
TNA Wrestling, Cross the Line.
And we're back with episode 148 of the TNA Cross the Line podcast. And this edition is the year in review. In Dallas, boy, oh boy. Quite a bit has happened in 2004, as you mentioned on the last episode, the final episode of 2004, that this was the most episodes that we've recorded in a year, in the 3 years of TNA's existence. So we've got a lot of ground to cover and a lot of stuff to remember.
Bob, I mean, yeah, what a year it's been, first off. I mean, it's been crazy. I mean, ups and downs, and, we're going to get into a lot of that, but I'm just going to say it right now. I ain't going to remember everything. I'm going to miss stuff. I'm not going to have answers for all of the categories we're talking about, and it's going to be a very interesting episode because it's just been that crazy of a year. And actually, just for fun, I just thought about this right now. Why not? I want to read the first show from 2004. I think let's kick it off. Let's relive what we saw. Basically, if you guys haven't listened to our year in review episodes in the past, what we're going to do, we got some categories that I believe we kind of based it on the PWI awards, didn't we?
Yeah, pretty much.
And we don't need to really give you a rundown. We're gonna go through them all. We'll also be discussing every single debut that happened in 2004. I also have different tournaments, match stipulations, some kind of fun facts like that. As well as we'll do a quick rundown of some of the TNA inclusions in the Wrestling Observer newsletter awards, which are voted on by fans. So I think we got a lot of fun stuff to cover, including a couple personal favorite highlights that we'll probably end with, which I think you guys kind of already know what those probably are. But yeah, let's I don't know. I figured why not? Let's relive our first show from 2004. Really quick. It was January 7th, 2004. Of course, we were back in the Asylum. Cage Match has this listed as pay-per-view 79. That's not the case. It's not pay-per-view 79 because of their numbering was wrong. I can actually give you the right number here. Give me the 2 seconds here. We're live, pal, even on the fucking review show. It's actually pay-per-view number 76. So they're only 3 off at this point. So look at this. Let me get the results though. So we saw Abyss and the Red Shirt Security with Kevin Northcutt and Legend defeat AJ Styles and America's Most Wanted in 8 minutes 12 seconds. 3 Live Crew, BG James, Ron Killings, and Conan was ringside. Defeated Johnny Swinger and Simon Diamond to retain the tag team titles in 3 minutes and 37 seconds. Chris Vaughn defeated Kid Cash in 1 minute 32 seconds. Now, mind you guys, the times of these. This is not an Impact show. This is a fucking 2-hour pay-per-view. The Gathering, CM Punk and Julio De Niro defeated Raven and the Sandman at 7 minutes and 22 seconds. And in the main event, it was the X Division title on the line in the Ultimate X number 2 match, where Chris Sabin defeated Christopher Daniels, Low-Ki, and Michael Shane. To win the title. Michael Shane was champion at the time in 15 minutes and 7 seconds. That was our very first show of 2004. On paper, pretty good. I don't think that sounds really bad at all.
No, it doesn't sound bad. No.
And if I'm looking at our stuff correctly, we both gave it a thumbs up. So we started off strong. And unfortunately, just a few less than 10 episodes later, we were already giving thumbs down. So, things happen. Things change throughout the year.
Yeah, that's all right.
That's okay. Yeah, nothing wrong with that. Wow. I guess we can just kind of dive right into this and start kind of having an open discussion about some of this stuff. I'm just going to go right down my list, which hopefully is in the same order as the list I sent back to you, Bob, which was starting off with the most shocking moment of 2004.
Okay.
I did write down a couple things for this. I didn't write down stuff for all of these because I was very overwhelmed and I didn't know what to write down. So
I
figured,
wrote down absolutely nothing.
oh, perfect. Then this is even better. I got two things I wrote down for this as potential most shocking moments. Mine, I wrote down Chris Harrison primetime defeating the Naturals to win the tag team titles on September 8th. Because listen, hear me out, man.
Oh my
Hear
God.
me out, man.
Dallas, are you kidding me?
Hear me out. I didn't say this is my number one. I'm just saying it.
The fact that that's even on your radar
Bob.
for most shocking moment of the year
Bob, listen though.
is incredible to me. That's incredible. Oh my God.
Well, I didn't.
That is
Did you
too-
really expect them to win the titles?
I don't
No,
know, but I
you
don't
did
think I
not.
would put it as my most shocking moment.
No, I said it's one of.
I know.
Because you
but
know what's
that's
you know
when
what's
mentioned-
you know what is probably the most shocking moment. Randy Savage making his debut at Victory Road.
Yeah, I would say that's pretty shocking.
But Harrison
So
Primetime is really up there.
No, it's not. Get out of here.
You're a pain in the ass. I think it is shocking, first off. Secondly, Jeff Hardy making his debut is probably a pretty big one.
Yep, I would put that over your idea there. Yeah.
I was trying to get some other ideas here, Bob. I went through every single show last night. Now, I only looked at the cards, so of course I don't have I didn't have full exposure to the segments and everything. You could say, what about? Oh no, that was 2003. Never mind. I was gonna say when the Gathering turned on Raven, but that's 2003.
That's 2003.
Yeah.
What else do you have?
That's all I wrote down for that one.
Embarrassing. How about Elix Skipper walking the cage?
Duh. Yeah, baby.
Yeah,
That's
but-
right.
Well, we'll say Elix Skipper and Chris Harris winning the tag titles from the Naturals. Memorable.
Wait, I'm gonna put that one
Walking-
into. No, wait, that's such a good one. I should have wrote that one down for this. Okay, so I'm switching my answer. I'm gonna put my most disappointing moment as Harrison Primetime defeat the Naturals. No, I'm kidding. Okay, you're probably right about the Skipper one too.
Yeah, probably.
Damn you! I regret. I should have.
So Skipper walking the cage is got to be up there.
It's got to be like
coming in,
Savage coming in, Hardy coming in.
Hardy coming in, sure.
See, but I don't feel like Kevin Nash was like as shocking as the other two. You know what I mean? Like to me, like Kevin Nash coming in wasn't like, oh shit, here's Kevin Nash.
Well, I think we have to put Nash and Hall together.
Yeah, I don't know.
Like,
For me, that's just. I mean, it was exciting.
I kind of agree with that. I don't think I was like, holy shit, Kevin Nash is.
It was when you got to think when Hardy came in, it was a very interesting time. Obviously, it was their second anniversary. It was really out of nowhere, and arguably one of the bigger people they brought in. Of course, they brought Sting in before, but
well, how about TNA actually getting a TV deal?
I mean, yeah, I think that's totally a shocking thing because from the beginning it was like this isn't going to work without TV, and they kept saying, well, we're focusing on the pay-per-view model, and then all of a sudden here we are, and we have a TV deal. What about leaving the Asylum, moving to Orlando? That was a pretty big deal. I mean, their home base. They left their home base to essentially start a new one.
Yeah.
Yeah, I totally agree with those.
I was trying to think of anything else that was really shocking.
The thing is, like, when I was going through, I think I'm going to defend my Harrison Primetime thing a little bit more because, like, if you go through and you just look at the matches like I was doing, honestly, not a lot, like, was like, oh, shit, I remember when that happened. Like, that was pretty crazy. So, like, that's where I'm going to defend my thing of, like, oh, yeah, that was kind of I didn't expect that to happen.
I think
like match wise, I'm struggling finding like that like storyline. For me, the shocking things here are like these big moments of like, oh, here's a debut, or like you said, like moving to getting the TV deal.
I would say that the Naturals actually beating AMW for the titles was pretty shocking.
Yeah, I think that's a good point.
I mean, because they were at one point they were promoting them as being like on the bubble of getting cut.
The gut check stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then they win the tag titles. I think that was kind of
no, that's a pretty big deal.
Yeah, kind of shocking.
Fucking Jarrell Clark and Mikey Batts pinning the Naturals, who were the current champions on Impact.
Yeah.
Just like stuff like that was just like pretty crazy.
And I don't really think they really followed up on that though.
No, they don't.
And that kind of sucks that they didn't continue on with it. But
yeah, that was kind of it.
I mean, Mikey Batts and Jarrell Clark are a good team, but I think I know backstage stuff really kind of maybe hindered them because Jarrell Clark not doing whatever for the finish and stuff. But I kind of think that Jarrell Clark would have been better off not with Mikey Batts.
And maybe just like a X Division guy.
Yeah.
I think you're probably right about that.
Because we saw Mikey Batts, I think it was against Daniels. And we were like, he's not ready for this.
Yes. Yeah. That was right after Turning Point.
Yeah. So I think that kind of showed me who out of the two guys maybe is a little bit further ahead.
I think that's fair.
And I think that showed that Jarrell Clark was maybe a little further ahead.
Yeah, I think that's a really great point. Well, I guess bouncing off of all this, you're disappointed in Mikey Batts here, but what was your most disappointing moment from 2004?
I would maybe say I'm gonna, the first thing that really came to mind when I saw these lists, and I maybe didn't write it down or anything, but first thing to mind was I would say the Chris Harris push.
Oh yeah,
the failure to execute the singles run there in April. And when we interviewed him, he thought he was going to get the title, and found out the day before that wasn't going to happen.
It also seemed like he was going to.
Yeah, and then you promote the cage match for probably a good 3 or 4 weeks. Let's just say a month. The countdown to the cage, this whole thing. And then he's not even in the match.
No, yeah, it was Styles. And then Styles won.
Right. Which I don't even, maybe that could be seen as a shocking moment. I don't think so. For me, because AJ's already beat him.
Yeah. No, I totally agree with the Harris thing. That's definitely a good one. Because it was. If they pulled the trigger on Harris, oh my God, it would have been one of the biggest things of the year.
Yeah.
And at that time, yeah.
And, in that moment, too, we could be saying right now Chris Harris is a former world champion. Whether
he should have been.
Right, whether it was for months or a week or whatever. You have that.
Right.
You have that that title on your name. And then, let's say down the line, let's say let's say Maya Brown were to win the title. You could just have a throwaway match on TV and Maya Brown against Chris Harris, who is a champion.
Yeah, and I think kind of looking ahead, so spoiler alert, I do think that maybe that would have ended up potentially helping Harris later in his TNA career, potentially, being a former champion. I mean, obviously, that it doesn't always help people, and it doesn't always matter, but I think there's probably, you could have done stuff more like that.
Yeah, I don't think, again, as we kind of tease the future, I don't think we would have nearly the amount of starts and stops that Harris kind of has in a singles capacity.
Right. Yeah, I think it's a good point. I think another one for me, which is also ironic because it kind of bounces off one of the most shocking ones, was Randy Savage's. We'll just say his debut. I mean, it ends up being a major letdown. His first and final match in TNA and his final match of his career at Turning Point was like a stinker.
Well, I think it's more kind of like the follow-up of the debut.
Yeah, well, that's what I mean. So Yeah, no, and I really mean it's like kind of the match more than anything. But you get this tease, and he's actually on TV more than we expected, which is really exciting. But then you kind of just get let down. Then to come out, find out, okay, he's gone. We don't do anything with him. We really essentially never mention him again, and that's kind of that, and that sucks.
Yeah. This is, I might be off by a little bit, but were they still kind of teasing Bound for Glory for 2004 at all, or no?
I don't think they did.
Because if they were, I was going to say that, but I feel like that wasn't really.
No, I think we dropped that once, because once it didn't happen, I don't think we ever heard that name again until eventually.
Well, I'm saying like I don't know when, because originally it was like October, right, of 03.
I think something like that. Yeah.
I wonder if they were trying to like push it back to 04. But regardless, like that not happening.
Yeah.
In 2004, like that idea.
Yeah. No, I agree with that.
Maybe be thrown in there. I would be willing to say, because this is considered what would we consider the most disappointment. I would say, kind of in general way they've handled the Raven since 2003.
Yeah, I think that's totally.
I mean, he had like the Sabu stuff, but
I think that
overall,
I mean, it's not like anything mind blowing or anything, but I do sort of been enjoying the Eric Watts, Diamond Dallas Page Raven kind of thing.
Of course, you would be. That's like the least interesting thing on the show.
Oh no, it is not.
Name something that's more uninteresting than that.
I'll say whatever they're doing with Kid Cash.
I knew you were gonna say that. I fucking knew it.
Because what the fuck I'm gonna say that is also super disappointing. What the fuck are you doing with Kid Cash?
The Kid Cash thing is because he bumped into Dustin and he's like, "Oh, your dad's like in power now, so that's pretty cool for you, right?"
Okay, that's fine, but in general, I'm gonna use a coconut. Okay, fucking cool.
Yeah.
No, fuck that stuff.
It doesn't help. It doesn't help fucking Kid Cash when he goes on these.
I know.
Stuff, and he's just ripping on the company, like, "Oh, these guys are fucking stupid," and like, of course they're gonna get pushed because they're young and hot.
That all being said, if Kid Cash wants to come and talk shit 20 years later, hit us up.
I mean, we could probably reach out to him, and he might talk to us about it. He has gone on record saying that he wanted to get fired.
Oh, so yeah, it's very clear.
If he even really meant what he was saying at the time, he probably meant out of frustration, but he was just trying to get fired.
Yeah, I mean, that's fair. Sometimes you got to get a little crazy.
Yeah. So like, I don't think he's that much of a rebel.
Well, I like to pretend that he is because it makes it more fun. But you're probably onto something there. I'm trying to think of any other things that like really bummed me out this year. I mean, I could even say like, oh, you know what? Fucking is super disappointing. What? El Leon.
Well, for me, disappointment would be something you have to remember, and I would be honest with you.
I know. I'm clicking on shows right now, so that's kind of.
I think a disappointment thing would be pretty recent. What we've watched was Monty Brown losing a title match right before.
Dude!
Like that was really unnecessary.
Yeah. Yes, absolutely. That's a big one.
Yeah.
I'd also argue to say that I was disappointed every time we had to watch an America's X Cup.
The Britain one was fucking brutal, and
Dude,
I knew
they all were not good.
No, the last one was all right, wasn't it?
They were
ladder match and stuff.
Okay, that was the World Cup. That's different.
Oh, right. Okay.
The America's X Cup were not very good.
Wasn't one of the America's X Cup we had a War Games on it?
That was the first one, and that was we did not have that in 2004.
Shit.
Or though that was the Super X Cup even. That wasn't even an America's.
Yeah, you're right. That wasn't even okay.
The America one, I got them right here. The first one is when Team NWA and Team Mexico fought. And there was just like a bunch of matches and then an elimination match. And then the second one was Team Canada and Team Mexico.
Those ones usually had like ICP on them.
That one, this one I'm looking at, the second one from March 10th. That was when David Young, Glenn Gilberti, and Kid Cash fought Too Tough Tony and the ICP. I gotta add Too Tough Tony to my list because I think I forgot him. Too Tough Tony. Okay. And then the third one was the really bad one, UK versus Mexico, and then that one they had the finals of the tag team title tournament at the end, which was Daniels and Low-Ki versus Dallas and Kid Cash for the vacant titles. But that show was really, really brutal.
Yeah, I do.
This next category here, I'll be honest with you, I have absolutely nothing that comes to my mind, and that is the promo of the year.
Yeah, I mean those are usually pretty tough.
I mean, usually I feel like there's something that stands out. So what I'm gonna say is the Dustin Rhodes promo that got cut because he was blabbering on, and we don't actually know what he said, and they told him to wrap it up.
I feel like there was a Chris Harris promo during his little push during that brief that we were like, oh wow, what the hell is that? Like, what is? He had like some good emotion.
Yeah, that's a good one.
I think it might have been the second match with Jarrett, right? Because there was one in February they had.
Yeah, they have a couple.
I think it's because then it was because he had one in March. I'm pretty sure it was like going to that second one.
No, that's a good point because I do think there was something. I'm also gonna give a honorable mention to the Kings of Wrestling promo in the beginning of Turning Point because I think it's hilarious, even though everyone really hates it.
Yeah,
I think it's hilarious.
which one?
The one where they're sitting in the limo and they're all in their Elvis outfit.
That's not really a promo.
I gotta think of something here, man. So this is what I'm going with.
More of like a vignette.
I'm gonna count it. It counts to me. I'm counting it. If you got something better than that, you let me know.
Promo of the year. Wouldn't it be horrible if we were like completely missing one?
We are. I can guarantee you we are. That's kind of part of the fun of doing this, though, is because it's like if we can't think of something off the top of our head, and when I was going through everything, nothing rang a bell. I truly did not have a super memorable promo. I just didn't.
Yeah, I mean, I really can't think of anything. If you really look at the roster, there aren't like a lot of strong promo guys.
That's a pretty fair point.
I mean, really.
I'm sure like
Monty Brown's a good promo, but
I mean, just in general, yeah. In general, I do really like anytime he gets on the microphone. So he's gonna take my win. That's it. I'm saying it. He wins for me.
Okay.
Because every time he talks, I'm like, wait, I got to hear what he's gonna say.
Right.
He's super entertaining. Ravens are like good, but he's always so weird that it's kind of like you kind of get out more confused than you went into it.
Well, he's just always rhyming.
Yeah. Although I do miss the I think you hear me knocking. I think I'm coming in.
9/10 possessions, 9/10 of the law.
No, that's pretty good. I figured that this one was going to be a pretty quick category, though, because once again, nothing really major stood out to me. Yeah, and even the ones I do remember weren't good. Like Piper's Pit at Victory Road with Snuka, but like that wasn't good. It was just a memorable thing that they did. Right. This next one I do think is we'll have a little bit more conversation about and a little bit more fun, and that is the Rookie of the Year. I think I already know who I'm picking.
Well, so like rookie as in like rookie for TNA?
I'm going to say my pick goes for both probably, but yes, I will say rookie for TNA.
Who would be your rookie for TNA?
Mine? Petey Williams.
I mean, that's pretty good.
His first year in TNA, he's absolutely killed it.
He wasn't there in 2003 at all?
Nope.
I mean, that is pretty good for Petey. I mean, what do we then? I don't know. I guess as a duo, the Naturals they've had an appearance in all three. I know Explosions they did, but
They both they both have been here on pay-per-view in 2003.
Andy Douglas was.
Yeah, he had here, I'll double check for you. Because when I was going, because it doesn't feel like he did, right? Isn't that weird? Because I was like going through this stuff, and he does in fact. Him and him and Chase Stevens did fight America's Most Wanted on October 22nd, 2003. It's their only television appearance or pay-per-view appearance in 2003. The Restaurant Explosion.
Wow, that's a bummer. Yeah, no, I guess Petey Williams. Petey Williams is probably the best one that we're gonna get.
I think Williams is like top tier. You could also, I mean, he kind of dropped off on us, but for a while Dallas was kind of on a little hot streak there with the tag team title and stuff. But you could tell. I mean, this is his first year as well, and you can tell he's quite green at this time still. So he didn't.
Yeah,
he's not breaking out.
He's cooled off like big time
though. Well, that's what I mean. Whereas
when was the last time that we've even seen him? I mean, Kid Cash was with Marco Cordova. Dallas wasn't even out there.
That's what I'm saying. It's like here, I'll try to grab I'll try to look right now and see when the last time we saw him was. Because that's one for me. Whereas like, why don't we see Dallas? The last time we actually saw him, at least wrestling, was Victory Road.
Really?
Before that, it was a Best Damn Wrestling event, period. And that was, so Victory Road, obviously, November 7th. The Best Damn Wrestling event, period, was at least filmed on, it aired after that. So actually, technically, that's what it is, because that aired after Victory Road. But before that, we're talking September 17th, the 16th episode of Impact. So yeah, we've definitely cooled down on him. And now, has he shown up ringside with Kikesh since those appearances? Maybe, but usually that's even listed here. So
I'm talking about like wrestling wise.
Yeah, wrestling wise, that's where we're at. Yeah, dude. So I mean, you could really say any of Team Canada, just as a whole, really have been. I think
PD is definitely.
But PD is a really great pick, if you ask me, and someone who stands out. You know, if they ended up doing that New Church thing, Lex Levette, he could have been up there in our list, man. Could have been.
I don't know about that.
Okay, well,
I still haven't watched any of those NWA Florida matches. By the
way, you're messing up. You're messing up.
I probably should.
I was going to ask you about them. Okay, so it seems like we kind of agree on that one, which makes sense because it's freaking Petey Williams. Now, the next category is always kind of a tough one for me in general, which is the Inspirational Wrestler of the Year.
Okay.
And now this we kind of, when we talk about this one in the past, I do remember like Goldilocks we picked for our first one because it was like strong female persona in this wrestling thing. She never took shit, all this kind of stuff like that. I honestly don't remember who we picked last year. I can probably pull it up, but so this one's always tough for me. I'm always like, well, like what makes this, category
inspirational? So like, I feel like a lot of times people would take inspirational as like an inspirational story or overcoming the odds or whatever.
Yeah.
One of the first things that comes to mind would be Johnny B. Bad, just because. I mean, he had a horrible injury. Towards the end of his WWF run, and he hadn't really done anything. Really prior to TNA, I don't know if he was having major health issues though before he came in here. I can double check that.
Could you say the same about DDP since he kind of came back from injury and he's being like heavily featured?
Yeah, you could. I mean, he really retired because of his neck.
Which is a pretty, especially at this time, like not today if he was like anyone can come back from a neck injury, but I feel like at this time it's like that doesn't really happen.
Yeah, I think DDP would be a pretty solid one.
Those are some fun options I didn't really think about before.
Yeah. So I don't know exactly the health issues, but I mean, Miro opted not to return to WCW on a full-time basis back in 2000 because of his physical condition.
Oh wow.
So it had been something not great.
I'm gonna say also Eric Watts. He lost everything this year. He lost his money. He lost his fair girlfriend, and he really did everything in his power to earn that back.
That's funny. That is pretty funny.
That just came to me.
Is there any other inspirational guys?
That's why I said Eric Watts. I'm not really fully joking about that either. The story they built,
The storyline.
the story they built. I mean, that's pretty legitimate.
Mm.
Yeah, it's a tough one, man. Like I said, it's one that I'm not usually pretty good about thinking about because I'm always like, I don't really know.
Yeah, I don't really think there's anybody else. I mean, maybe like Sanjay Dutt.
We actually mentioned him last year. I have him in my note from last year.
Sanjay Dutt I mean, he stood up for Sabu.
Yeah, dude.
He did have a pretty bad injury that he came back from, his wrist or whatever. So he never gave up on that.
Yeah, I think Sanjay's kind of like Amazing Red to me, where I feel like you always are pulling for him. It's like, oh man, I really want Sanjay to win.
I agree with that. I've always been big on Sanjay Dutt in terms of like underappreciated, underrated.
I think that's fair. I think that's pretty good. Those are good. Those are good picks, man.
Yeah, if something else comes to mind for inspirational,
yeah,
go back to it. But yeah.
What about for the most improved? I think this is kind of a tough one too.
Do you have it for who we said last year?
I can pull up. I have at least who I wrote down. And who we discussed at least on my end. Let me pull it up.
Most improved.
So last year, you want to know most improved? We have AJ Styles listed last year. I do.
Is it most improved?
Yeah. Probably because the way he worked up the card with the title and everything.
Oh, okay. I'm gonna go Elix Skipper.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
I feel like I said him last year too, but I just feel like it still applies.
But watching him just in general, I got a good one. Even though they've kind of been left to the wayside now. The Naturals.
I was just gonna say the Naturals too. Yeah.
The Naturals, man. They went from especially if you look at this gut check stuff, right? You go because they were losing a lot. They weren't heavily featured. They come back from this gut check thing. They win the titles. They have some phenomenal matches with America's Most Wanted, and even some good ones with Triple X. I mean, just in general, great tag team. I think that's my pick right there.
Yeah, I think that's good.
I'd even, you know what? Who else? I think I don't know if it's more of an more improved, but more interest. I feel like was kind of brought to them.
I think that kind of ties in together.
Kind of Abyss. I mean, because he broke away from this Goldilocks storyline. I don't feel like he's held into like this is like what he does now. Do I think he's gonna improve a lot more? Yeah, but he's kind of becoming his own thing instead of like, oh, he's just like a scary guy that's with someone else.
Right. No, I think that's a good one too.
And he'll only get better.
He's kind of finally
becoming his own
character.
That's what I mean by that. Yeah. Cool. I think those are some pretty good ones. What about the comeback of the year? I think this could kind of even bounce off some of the stuff we've already discussed. I mean, you could argue Miro. You could argue Diamond Dallas Page just in general for their careers. But I got another good one. It's a two-part. Johnny Devine and Andy Douglas. They got stabbed. They got stabbed and they came back.
That could be inspirational.
Dude, they came back.
Douglas missed no time.
Douglas was back with a wrapped leg, and he was like ready to go. Now, Divine, of course, had a little bit more surgery. They had to like sew him back together, but I think those are two good comebacks.
Comeback of the year. I mean, that's a tough one too, though.
I don't know if we had any like. Did we? No, that's not a good one. Did we have any like big injuries that then they came back and like did something big? Because like James Storm was injured, but like.
Desire. She broke her back and then she came back.
You win, Desire. I mean, come on.
Mercedes Martinez broke her back in 2003 and then she came back.
Oh, that's so okay.
Yeah.
Duh. Desire. Wait,
right? That's the right time, right?
Yeah. Hey, wait, promo of the year. You ready? Trinity, Desire, Don Weston, Park. That's it.
You know what? That should probably win it.
It's so freaking good.
As soon as you can just visualize the whole thing. Like Don just crawling down, Sonny Siaki playing with the kids off camera, which means that there was never kids there. And then Don West is just rolling down the hill, going, "No, God, help me!" And Sonny Siaki.
Oh my God, it was so freaking good.
That's like on par with the 2002 one where Skipper threw yellow paint on Monument in the park.
Dude, that's so good. Another
park, I mean, in front of the fucking building.
Another good promo. I'm gonna count it as a promo because I don't know where else it would really fit. Cookie Gate, because it's just like ridiculous, and it's like
that's a shocking moment.
That's a shocking thing too. Yeah, can't forget Cookie Gate. Well, I mean, coming back from a broken back and getting stabbed. Do you have a better comeback than that? I don't know. I can't think of anything.
I mean, we got to say it for Lance, Jeff Hardy.
Yeah. Out of wrestling, right. So I do think a lot of these like debuts and shocking moments kind of tie into the comebacks because that's kind of what they are.
Yeah, I didn't put Jeff Hardy as a shocking thing because I remember back in 2004 as a teenager, I wasn't necessarily shocked that Jeff Hardy was in TNA.
I think that's a really fair point to bring up.
I wasn't like, oh my God, Jeff Hardy's in TNA. I was like, oh, okay, that's cool. But I wasn't like, holy shit, he's there.
Also, I feel like I have to say it, though, because it's kind of what ended up tying me into watching TNA. Because my cousin called me up, dude, Jeff Hardy's on this, like, new wrestling thing on whatever it was on. Like, and it was like, what?
Okay. All right. Then that would probably be a shocking moment then. If your cousin called you.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah, then in the general wrestling sense, that probably that should be a shocking moment.
Well, that's what I mean.
For me, I just wasn't shocked about it.
No, I get that, definitely.
And I think a lot of it for me too was, back then back in 2004, I was reading the dirt sheets, the wrestling news site, so I'm sure it was reported on ad nauseum for weeks about a tease about, oh, Jeff Hardy might be. So I was probably desensitized to it anyway.
That's fair.
Oh wait, no, I got another comeback.
Oh, okay.
Ken Shamrock.
Oh my god, I forgot about Ken Shamrock coming back this year. Yeah, it was and then he's trying to beat up Don West and Mike Tenay a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, wow, dude. That's pretty crazy. That is quite the comeback.
Yeah,
Dustin Rhodes.
Dustin Rhodes. Twice. Those
are good. Trinity just came back on our last episode, dude. We thought she was fired.
And Here she was. And that's inspirational. We thought she lost her job for a better job.
That's right.
And then she came back to the other job.
Right. Yeah, I totally agree. This next one is a little bit harder, I think, for this year because I feel like it's not as much as we thought. But the manager of the year, I feel like we were kind of limited on managers.
It's D'Amore.
I mean, it's probably
that's Scott D'Amore, right? I mean, Mitchell
wasn't really here, was he?
No.
Most of the year. I mean, I think Tracy you could probably put up there. She's heavily featured, but I mean, D'Amore in general, you can't say no. She was. I'm
saying no because it's no. Wasn't Tracy's that bump off the ropes? Wasn't that this year?
Oh, with Skip around to the.
Yeah, that was
dude. Oh wow, that was nuts.
And inspirational because I ain't taking that.
Oh man, that was wicked good too.
I am not taking that bump.
Yeah, I think you're right though. It's got to be D'Amore.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think there's anybody.
There's not a better manager than Scott D'Amore at this time.
Is there?
That's what I'm saying, dude. There's like none.
Yeah, but like now she's kind of with Dusty, so that's gonna water that down.
I mean, Trinity's technically a manager, but she doesn't do shit this year, really.
She was with Gilberti and Swinger, losers.
Yeah.
It's got to be D'Amore.
It's got to be D'Amore. Okay, easy enough. Feud of the year. I feel like this one kind of. I don't know. There's probably a couple, but there's an obvious one to me, which might also tie into my match of the year. But
I was gonna say your obvious one is probably Triple X and AMW.
Yeah, I mean, come on. There's that. You could argue Hardy and Jarrett, even though I think they made it a bigger deal than it was. I don't think it really held up as good.
Yeah, I don't know if I would include that one. I would say Raven Sabu.
Raven Sabu was pretty good. It was definitely too long, but because due to injuries and stuff, not
right. It got stretched out. I guess you could just say Raven versus Sabu / Dot.
I mean that's what it was.
I would even.
That's a good one.
We keep on going back and forth here. But this is what happens when you're just going off the top of your head. I would say Sanjay Dutt beating Raven was a shocking moment.
Yeah, that was. That's a big one.
That was pretty big.
I agree with that.
Feud of the year. Okay, AMW, Triple X. Raven.
You could say Harris and Jarrett was really good.
Harris and Jarrett, yep, that definitely got a lot of attention. AJ Kid Cash.
Oh, AJ Kid Cash was good. PD and Sabin was fun. I know it was shorter, but I thought it was pretty fun.
Yeah, that's all. Yeah. What else? I'm trying to think.
What are there some like really big ones that happened early on?
The Naturals in AMW.
Naturals AMW. I mean, yeah, you can't go wrong with that. Red and Sanjay Dutt had a pretty good best of 3 series, but I don't know if that's really like feud worthy.
I would really say that's a feud.
I mean, this is kind of an interesting one to kind of think about, but when we were leading into the King of the Mountain match, which we will discuss momentarily, AJ Styles, Killings, Raven, Harris, and Jarrett kind of had like a big 5-way feud, really.
What about Don Callis and Eric Watts?
You could argue. There was a lot going on that one.
That was it seemed like for a long time.
They were building up for that one pretty good.
Yeah. You know what? I think I got to start kind of getting a visual aid here. I'm literally going off the top of my head.
No, but this is good because we're bouncing off each other and we're thinking about stuff that we remember. I mean, that's kind of the thing. And like I said, dude, I literally clicked through every single one of these shows when I was doing this.
Raven and Harris had a good one.
I literally just clicked that and I was looking at it. But see, that's why I'm kind of tying into that almost the 5-way feud, because leading up, there was some good stuff.
Yeah.
I think that's kind of where I'm landing for that.
Well, Abyss and AJ had a bunch of matches.
Oh, Abyss and AJ had a lot of good stuff too.
I mean, I'm just looking at it. I mean, they had like 3 stipulation matches in like February.
Oh, a bunch of tables matches they had together. Yeah, I think there's some good stuff there. I don't know if we really missed any major ones. I think we kind of hit all the strong ones. I'm feeling pretty good about those.
Yeah, I don't think we're really missing. I don't think we're missing anything overly glaring.
I don't either. Okay, well then, if something pops up, we can talk about it. But let's keep going here. Now we have the most popular wrestler and the most hated wrestler. We can kind of probably tie these together if we want to a little bit, but. And I mean, we're going to be repeating some stuff here. I mean, most popular at one point, Chris Harris. I mean, just in general, you could say. I mean, AJ Styles, Jeff Hardy, huge. People love him.
Monty Brown.
I mean, they're literally chanting that he's the next world champ. We just saw it happen on Impact again. I mean, some big stuff there.
So okay, but like for you personally, most popular, like who is someone that
Okay.
if you are knowing is going to be on the show? Like, okay, I'm excited about that. By the way, another shocking moment: Dennis Rodman appearing on Impact. That was probably.
Oh wow. I'll mention too, when we go through our debut list, I left off celebrities.
That's fair.
Except one that got in the ring. We'll talk about.
I was gonna say because they're not integral to the show.
Right. Yeah, that's a good point though. Dennis Rodman, was big. Okay, if I see someone on the show, and that's like a must see to me, I hate to be like the generic person, but AJ Styles.
Yeah, you just
Personally, Chris Sabin. I really, really like Chris Sabin. I've said that a lot. Monty Brown's such a good one. If I like peek at a card and I'm like, oh, Monty Brown's wrestling, I do get excited.
Yeah, I mean, I think a handful of people could apply to this.
I think these are all great.
I think AJ, Sabin, Monty Brown, Harrison Storm.
Yeah. When I see those names on the card, man, I know it's going to be a good show.
All of those guys are baby faces. So on the heel side, I can only really think of like one at this point, and it's not Raven.
I was gonna. Oh, I hate saying that because I really like Raven, but I
like
also
Raven
feel
too.
like,
at
but
this
like
point in time,
he's kind of floating around. Yeah.
Yeah, he's kind of teetering down.
So you're trying to think of like one heel that you can think of.
Well, you know what? I have two now because I just looked at a different name. I got two.
Okay, give them to me.
Abyss.
Oh, I was thinking Abyss. Yeah.
And then the second one is more because of his recent like change in like appearance.
Christopher Daniels.
Christopher Daniels.
That's a really good one. I just thought of another shocking moment, Bob.
Okay.
Vince Russo leaving the company.
Yep.
With the vote, losing this power. That's a big moment.
Wasn't Vince Russo? Didn't Russo come back too?
I do. Yes, he did. He did another comeback.
Because Hogan didn't come in.
Yeah, that's right. Oh, those are good. Okay, those are good for most popular. Now, what about our most hated? There's an obvious one.
Yeah.
Damn it, Jeff Jarrett. Sorry, Glenn.
I was just gonna say, Glenn. Go Bird.
Sorry, Glenn. Whenever I see him on the show, I'm like, okay. Still 2004. Still.
Yeah. Well, most hated. Let's interpret this two different ways.
Yeah, I think that's good.
Jarrett and Gilberti is like, okay. Not really sure if I want to be.
Well, the thing is, I like Jarrett, but it's just like we're in his reign of terror.
Right. And
that's my problem.
The other aspect we have to look at is like, entertaining heel.
Okay, let's do with like Go Away Heat first, and then we can
Go Away Heat. Okay, Go Away Heat would be Gilberti for sure. I don't know if Jarrett has Go Away Heat.
No, I think he's got good heel heat.
I think he has heat. I just don't know if it's like
go away heat.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, you guys can hate me if you want. I don't really care for D'Lo Brown. I'm sorry.
I think that's a fair statement.
I'm sorry. And can we not forget when he cut that heel promo, like, going home with my kids?
Was it a heel promo, though?
Wait a second. Another shocking moment. The mystery man never makes his debut.
Oh, you know who has Go Away Heat with Eric Watts?
Eric Watts. Yeah, sorry, Eric.
I'm over that.
Yeah, well, when he showed up at the Impact Zone, it was like, we can't get away from him.
I got another one.
Okay.
Fucking Piper. Gotta get him out of here.
Okay, that's a good one too. Yeah, Piper's rough. Man, who do I? If I'm talking not just the Go Away Heat, but like good heel heat. I mean, Kid Cash is always really good. He's a great heel.
Kid Cash is a great heel. Kazarian and Michael Shane.
I do like them a lot.
The Naturals. Yep. I like the Naturals.
Naturals. Yep. Those are really good.
You know what? I don't know.
Oh, I know who I have go away heat with. Sorry, Bob. Big Vito. I'm sorry.
He's not even there anymore.
But through the year, they were reviewing the year.
Through the year, okay.
When he showed up, get off my screen.
Wait, we already did most popular, right?
You can still mention it. Yeah,
Jerry Lynn.
Jerry Lynn, yeah. See, but Jerry Lynn for me, unfortunately, like he's like a little blip of 2004 that unfortunately doesn't stand out very much to me.
Well, here's the thing. Okay, I was semi kind of joking about that, but the thing with Jerry Lynn too is that I can't pinpoint the moment, but 2002 Jerry Lynn, fucking great. 2003 Jerry Lynn, sign me up. And I think it had to do with an injury, but there was something in 2004 where it was like he had lost maybe a step.
Yeah, it's kind of weird.
The flow to the match just didn't seem to be what it was, but I do think that was because he had like a shoulder thing.
No, I think so too, but I also just think it was the way he's booked. Like, unfortunately, it's just.
I think Scott D'Amore might have go away heat with me.
Oh, really? Already?
Yeah, I just think he's annoying.
I think we're gonna get that place for me. I think very soon in 2005, where it's like, okay, enough of this. And I think that's kind of what happens to Team Canada in general. If people are like, holy shit, like get these people away from me.
Well, that's what was going on with Team Canada when they're feuding with 3 Live Crew here at the end of 2004. I knew it was coming, that they were going to be, fighting quite a bit. I don't know how much more that goes into 2005. I feel like it does, and I feel like those matches happen just because the creative team is like, well, we don't know what else to do with them. So,
yeah, I think that's really a fair point. I used to like Apollo or El Leon, depending on how you want to look at it. And his little stint with D'Lo as like tag team champions was like a not great.
That sucked.
Did not like that at all.
I feel like I have one, but I gotta make sure that it is.
Other most hated people here.
Oh, you know what? I have most disappointed. I have another disappointment.
Okay.
It's not necessarily a moment, but Sonny Siaki.
Yeah, I was just thinking that.
That was disappointing.
It's crazy because I was thinking about it during our final episode that just came out a couple days ago, and Siaki's in a match, and like Siaki in the Impact Zone versus Siaki in the Asylum, very different people.
Yes.
Like he hit his height in like early 2003, I think, and like with like sex and stuff.
Yeah, early.
Yeah. And unfortunately, just it never got better, and there's part of the booking stuff though too. I don't think it's really necessarily his fault, but it sucks.
No, and I think it's pretty obvious that the management of TNA, they see him as more of a X Division guy,
and he's like not.
He's not, and he's another guy that anytime another legend comes in or whatever, it just knocks him down even further.
Yeah. Yep.
So I think that certainly doesn't help his placement on the card. And I mean, he was in that random 6-man with AJ and Johnny, but ultimately, did he really do anything?
Oh, right. No.
Is there any real focus on him?
Yeah. I think these are some great picks, though. These are good. The next one, Bob, is a banger. Match of the year. Now, listen, I'm going to challenge you. I think it's pretty obvious what the match of the year is.
Yeah.
It's the 6 Sides of Steel, America's Most Wanted versus Triple X at Turning Point. I mean, it is absolutely phenomenal. Arguably,
I thought you were going to say Scott D'Amore against Jerry Lynn.
Don't make me start having us do a worst match of the year. That wins. I mean, it was phenomenal. One of the best cage matches of all time. Such a good feud, and it ended perfectly. That's match of the year. But what would you say could have been besides that? And I wrote down 2 matches.
Okay.
Actually, I got 3.
You have 3 matches.
Other ones that are contenders.
Off the top of my head, I have no idea.
Okay, well then let me give you and see if this helps. I would say the Chris Sabin Petey Williams match from the same show was phenomenal, and unfortunately gets overlooked because of how good the cage match is. I just really thought it was a good match. I wrote down the. I'm hoping I got the right one written down. So if I don't, correct me. The Jeff Jarrett versus Chris Harris title match, mostly because the way the crowd was into it. Like I think it just helped. Like from March 17th, 2004.
Yeah, it would have been the March one, yeah. Because the one in February was the non-title.
Because the crowd was just. I mean, I just remember being like so excited about it.
I don't know. Action-wise, I don't know if that would be
That's
a match of
that's
the
from.
year type of thing. But
And my final one, which I'm gonna say there's definitely if you took out the cage match, this might be it for me. The first King of the Mountain match, June 2nd, 2004.
really,
I really enjoyed it, and I think it was such a random new idea for them. It stuck, and it ends up being a mainstay, and I think that also kind of ties into why I would potentially put it up there. I'm sure you could argue also probably any of the Ultimate X matches. I kind of left that out on purpose because I usually enjoy all of them, but those are always really good.
what about? I think another one that we could probably put for consideration is Kid Cash AJ Styles street fight.
Ooh, yeah. That's another good feud of the year. Did we say that?
Yeah.
Okay, good. Making sure. Yeah, that street fight was good. That's a good one.
What about going back and looking at my reviews here to maybe jog my memory? I feel like there was a Jerry Lynn match that.
See, I don't know if there was back in 2004 here.
You could be wrong. I think I'm wrong.
It's okay.
You
You can't always be right, Bob, you know?
Oh, that's true. What about... Oh, I don't know. I don't. There was like a... You know what? For match of the year, so tough. I mean, you could say the Naturals and AMW cage match.
Yeah.
That was good.
I think that's fair.
But I mean, again, match of the year. I mean, that's nowhere near the Triple X one. So, like, match of the year, it's obvious it's the Triple X AMW cage match. But those other ones are like, hey, maybe go check it out. Is how I would say.
No, I agree with that definitely.
I mean, Raven Sabu, like, that was a good match, like a good garbage match.
Right. No, I agree with that, man. Those are good options here. The next one, I know Bob's answer already. We got the tag team of the year, and of course, Bob's going to pick 3 Live Crew.
No. That would be pass. No, it's obviously America's Most Wanted.
Yeah, I mean, come on.
I would put the Naturals in there.
Naturals.
If they had a stronger final 3 months, they may have made a push for it. But I mean, AMW, they work. I mean, Triple X, the Naturals, Team Canada. They are the team.
Yeah, I mean, come on.
Cash and Dallas. I mean, it's just plenty of good matches throughout the year.
Yeah, I think that's pretty easy. We can keep that quick and short. It's pretty obvious.
And that's even with them not teaming for 2 or 3 months.
Right.
But Naturals, though, I think they deserve a shout. Same thing with Triple X, obviously.
And finally, Bob, ours, and then we can get into some more of the fun stuff here. Wrestler of the Year.
That's so tough. That's really tough. Because, I mean, what, are people expecting to say AJ Styles? Which, I mean, I get. But when you think of 2004, Like, who do you think of?
Jeff Jarrett.
Yeah, but he's not Wrestler of the Year.
I know.
Like,
I know.
It
That's what I.
it seems so lame to be like, oh, AMW is the best tag team. And, oh, Wrestle Your AJ Styles. But like that's kind of what the first few years is.
Yeah, that's true.
Right? I mean, there's not even like a strong competition for those spots, I feel like. Because sure, AJ's not. I'm like, I mean, I guess he was recently in the main event or semi-main event, but he's certainly not being presented as like the guy, which is just lunacy. But I guess 2004 would probably still be AJ. But you'd still give him the trophy and like, you're Wrestler of the Year. Congratulations, you did it.
Yeah, that's a good point.
I wouldn't say Jeff Hardy because he didn't.
No, you can't.
AJ had a title reign, a couple of different title reigns. Yeah, and I think that's pretty.
Yeah,
that's pretty cut and dry too.
Yeah, I think so. I think it definitely feels like a more open-ended one this year than normal, where it's like that's the guy. Whereas this year it's like that's the team. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, I think it's a little more tough. I don't know, but yeah, I think that we got some good options there. Well, Bob, you ready to get into some fun? Fun to wrap us up here in 2004.
Do it.
Let's actually run through the Observer stuff first, just because it's gonna be pretty quick, really. I just want to do a quick rundown of what fans voted for, and I only grabbed the categories that actually related to TNA. So I'll just mention. Let's see. So we got the most outstanding wrestler in TNA made the list here. AJ Styles was voted number 7th, and last year it looks like he was number 7th as well. And you can count it because he wrestled here in 2004. CM Punk is number 9.
For most outstanding?
Yep.
Wow.
The feud of the year.
Who was number 1? Kurt?
No, oh, that's a good, yeah. Chris Benoit was number 1.
Okay. Yeah, okay.
The feud of the year, we got in at number 6 with the AMW versus Triple X.
Mm.
And let's see, are we in the honorable mentions? Yes, AJ Styles Kid Cash is an honorable mention. And the number 1 for that would be Triple H, Michaels, and Benoit.
Okay.
Tag Team of the Year. Number 2, America's Most Wanted. Number 5, Christopher Daniels, Elix Skipper. And are we in anything else? Nope. So that's where we are there. Number 1 was Kenta and, oh God, Naomichi Marufuji.
Okay, so they're the number 1 tag team in America.
Yeah. Pretty big deal.
And I think that's absolutely correct.
Yeah, definitely. We got the most improved category, and we got in on this list on number 9 with Monty Brown. CM Punk was an honorable mention. And I'll bring that up because he wrestled there. And number 1.
Whoa. CM Punk was ranked what in like most outstanding or whatever?
He's number 7, I think.
7. And then for most improved, he's honorable mention?
Yeah.
Okay. How does that make sense?
I don't know, dude.
Is Monty Brown on most outstanding? No. So you would think that if he's voted that high for most outstanding, he'd be number 1 for most improved. Because now he's outstanding.
I don't know, man. Number 1 is Randy Orton, though.
Really? For 04? The Foley match?
Yeah, that's probably helping.
That's gotta be what it is. Because
right.
His Unforgiven match and so that sucks.
We have the next up is the best on interviews. And we have a couple do we? No, maybe I'm wrong. Oh no, we got a few. Okay, so we have CM Punk is number 5. No, of course, in TNA it's probably not actually that. But he wrestled there, so I'm bringing it up. And then in honorable mentions, we have Raven and Scott D'Amore.
Scott D'Amore.
Maybe this is why we couldn't figure out a best promo from the year.
Yeah, because there's just not that many options. Who was number 1?
Number 1 was Mick Foley.
Who's number 2?
Ric Flair.
3.
Chris Jericho.
4.
JBL.
Okay, yeah. See, you just look at the competition. Come on. Not
Yeah.
even close.
Right. The most charismatic. We got in here on an honorable mention. CM Punk. Oh, and Monty Brown. Oh, and Hector Garza.
Hector Garza?
Maybe
Who's number 1?
Number 1 in this is Eddie Guerrero.
Oh yeah, absolutely, sure.
So we didn't quite hit the main list on that one, but figured to mention it.
Monty Brown. Who's number 10?
Number 10 is Randy Orton.
What?
Yeah, I don't know, man.
Charisma in 04.
Yeah. The best technical wrestler.
Baby and heel. What? All right.
Okay, the best technical wrestler. I'm just saying it because I wanted to make you laugh, and he wrestled one time in 2004 in TNA, and that would be number 9, Nigel McGuinness. But he wrestled in TNA, so it counts, man.
Yeah, sure, it counts. Yeah. Who's number 1?
Number 1 of that is Chris Benoit. The Bruiser Brody Memorial Award, which is the best brawler. Raven came in at number 4. Number 9 was Abyss. And some honorable mention, we got CM Punk is our in TNA.
No Jarrett.
No Jarrett. And number 1 of the best brawler is also Chris Benoit. Samoa Joe's number 2, for your reference.
Wow. Okay. I don't know if I've ever envisioned Benoit as a brawler.
And that's what I think is kind of weird, too.
I mean, yeah, it's Kevin Sullivan stuff in like 97, but like 2004? Maybe I haven't watched 2004 long enough, but
that's what you're messing
I
up
don't
with.
ever envision him as a fucking brawler.
I don't know what to tell you.
I mean, okay, to me, he's a technical, like German suplexes and like diving headbutts and stuff.
Right.
A brawler. Raven's a brawler.
Right. Okay, this next one, we got quite a bit. The best flying wrestler, which is a silly title, but we have the number 2 slot, AJ Styles. Number 3, he did appear in TNA, Jack Evans. Number 9, Sanjay Dutt. Number 10, Petey Williams. And in honorable mentions, we have Chris Sabin and Juventud Guerrero.
Okay. Petey Williams, I don't classify as a high flyer.
He's just flying. Best flying.
I don't.
Oh, God.
Like
and number 1 is Rey Mysterio. Okay,
I think I would take AJ over Ray.
I think I probably would too. Bob's favorite category is up next. The most overrated.
Okay,
we got the number 2 slot. That's right,
Jarrett.
Jeff Jarrett.
Who's number 1?
Number 1 is Triple H.
As overrated.
Yeah, and the voting is very close, within 200 votes.
Is Triple H really overrated?
I think people are just over him at this time.
That's what I think. I think they're just like done with it. I don't think he's necessarily overrated.
Yeah. And also in the honorable mentions, Kevin Nash was listed.
I don't know if anybody's really rating Kevin Nash.
Okay, so most underrated. We are in the number 9 slot with Christopher Daniels.
Okay.
And in the honorable mentions, we have AJ Styles and Sanjay Dutt.
And who's number 1 for that?
Number 1 for that is Paul London. By like a significant amount of votes.
As underrated.
Underrated.
Name some other guys in that.
Number 2, Chris Jericho. Number 3, RVD. 4, Christian. 5, Matt Hardy. 6, Eddie Guerrero, which is so silly because he's pretty high up in
world champion.
7, Rey Mysterio. Doug Basham is number 8.
Okay. Now here's the thing about that.
Oh, stop it.
No. Hang on.
Come on, Bob.
Hang on. Doug Basham. See, I'm glad that I got you to tell me this. You laugh at Doug Basham, okay? And realistically, for his push in WWE, sure, you can laugh at that. But his OVW stuff as the Machine Doug Basham, before they had him shave his head, he should have probably been a top heel in WWE.
Really?
Yes. I'm not even joking. It was him Damaja, also known as Danny Basham, and Queen Victoria, which was Victoria. That trio in OVW, like I think it was 2002, was very good. They were having a feud. I'm such a nerd. They were having a feud with Jim Cornette, Rob Conway, and Nick Dinsmore, also known as Eugene. That first half of 02, that's some good stuff. So Doug Basham, people can laugh at it, and they can probably be like, Bob, I can't believe you're defending this, but Doug Basham does not get enough credit, and he was a victim of bad booking and having to shave his head.
Okay, I'll hear you out, man.
He's a good worker.
Okay, I believe you. Did I tell you that? Yeah, I did. That Dutton Styles are honorable mentions of that one.
Yeah, who's number 9?
Oh, number 9? We have Daniels. I said that.
10.
Akio.
Jimmy Yang.
Oh, is that Akio?
That's Akio's.
Oh, okay. Next up.
Is pretty accurate too. I'm surprised that Jamie Noble's not on that.
Not in the honorable mention. Danny Basham's in the honorable mentions though.
Danny Basham is?
Yeah. He's the next one. If there was 11, he'd be 11.
That's crazy. Okay, here's my 2005. James Gibson will be on underrated.
People really like him. I personally have never seen his Ring of Honor work though.
I think you should just watch. And the Ring of Honor stuff is...
That's what I hear people talk about a lot.
Yeah, is arguably some of his best stuff. But, I mean, you could watch Jamie Noble on Velocity in 2002, 2003.
Maybe you need to give it a shot.
He has some, like... You know, I'm like that guy that reviews Heat and Velocity from the mid...
Yeah, of course you are.
You look at the match. Shut up. You look at the match cards, and you got like Jamie Noble against Paul London, for instance, and it goes 11 minutes. Like, you know that's a good fucking match. You just know it. So I think a lot of Jamie Noble's stuff for WWE is on the fucking Velocities. So I would say just check out that stuff, and along with his Ring of Honor or Indies for that matter.
Right.
Because he goes to FIP and he has like a 30-minute match with like CM Punk there too or something like that.
Oh, wow. Interesting. Next up, we got the promotion of the year. Yes, we made it into the top 10 list of the promotions of the year.
Really?
We are at the number 8 slot. And for reference, that means we are above New Japan Pro Wrestling and IWA Mid-South.
Well, I would hope that we're above IWA Mid-South.
I'm just telling you.
They have like 12 people going to their shows. How many people voted for IWA Mid-South?
70.
Wow.
And so you get
like
reference.
A super show.
Yeah, there you go. Number 1 is Noah, Pro Wrestling Noah. Number 2 is Ring of Honor.
Okay.
You just want me to keep going?
Okay.
Pride Fighting Championships, which I think is like MMA stuff, isn't it?
Yeah, that's shoot fighting.
WWE is number 4. UFC is number 5. 6 is CMLL. And 7 is Ohio Valley Wrestling.
They lost to OVW.
By like more than double votes.
How many votes did Impact have? Or TNA?
129.
And then OVW had how much?
357.
Holy shit. I'm telling you, man, OVW has some good shit. I'm glad I have the 2002 to 2006 TV run.
There you
go. Because that shit is some good stuff. Cornette booking that too, by the way.
Oh boy.
Well, for at least the majority of the run I just referenced. And Paul Heyman does like a year.
Oh, nice. Next up is the best weekly television show. And yeah, that's right, baby. Impact made it at the number 5 slot, which is pretty cool. Now, I'll go down the list again since these are not like random names and stuff. So we have Raw as number 1. Pro Wrestling Noah is number 2. Ohio Valley Wrestling is 3. So once again, killing it. CMLL is number 4. Impact's 5. SmackDown is number 6. Velocity is 7. New Japan Pro Wrestling is 8. IWA Puerto Rico is number 9. And Sunday Night Heat is number 10.
I love that Velocity is on there. I'm telling you, man, because they have like... There's episodes of Velocity where they'll be like,
pretty fun.
Just put cruiserweights on. It was like 205 Live before 205 Live.
Oh, that's a good way to put it.
It really was. It was really good.
Rookie of the Year, we have one slot here, and it's the number 1 slot, and it's Petey Williams.
Okay, that's definitely fair.
No, there is no honorable mentions listed on this one, so I don't have any more of those. And half of these guys are other Japanese guys, so you won't even know who they are. Best non-wrestler. So this could be managers and blah, blah, blah. Well, in our case, it is the number 4 slot with Scott D'Amore, and that's it. And he's also a wrestler. That's a good point. That's all we made it. I mean, Steamboat wasn't here in 2004, so that didn't count for us.
That's because he was in Ring of Honor.
Ring of Honor. Number 1 for that is Paul Heyman, for reference.
Of course.
The best television announcer for, I believe, yes, the 3rd year in a row is for us, baby. It's Mike Tenay.
He's number 1?
It's number 1.
Wow.
Which is pretty cool. CM Punk's on here. He didn't do that in us with TNA, but he's on here.
No.
He's number 8. In Bob's favorite is the honorable mention, Josh Matthews. I'm just kidding. Mauro Ronaldo? He did announcing in 2004. I didn't know that.
Yeah, he's always done like the shoot fight and stuff.
I don't know if I knew that. The worst television announcer is I'm a little sad that we have to even bring this one up, but unfortunately, Don West is number 5, which I disagree highly.
I think that in 2004, I probably would have agreed with that, but in hindsight, there's no way.
Yeah, I disagree.
There's no way.
We are even included on, well, it's unfortunately a best or honorable mention, but the best major wrestling show. So we're not in the main list, which is sad.
That's major. What does that mean?
So we have like number 1 is a Tokyo Dome. So then we got WrestleMania 20. Then we got Backlash. Okay. So stuff like that. Well, Victory Road.
TNA Weekly pay-per-view number.
No. Victory Road is listed in the honorable mentions. But I found this one interesting because they really, even in the Observer, hyped up how Turning Point was one of the best pay-per-views of the year and all this, and it didn't even make the voting list here.
Turning Point is definitely the better show.
Yeah, but Victory Road's the honorable mention.
Victory Road's on there because more people probably watched it because it's the first one.
Right.
But yeah, absolutely.
Next up, we have the best wrestling maneuver. Number 1. Yes, the Canadian Destroyer, number 1 by a lot. 430 votes. Second place is 65.
Huh. Is the Styles Clash on there?
No, but we do have more lists. The honorable mention appears to be the Death Sentence from America's Most Wanted.
Okay.
But number 10 is The Pounce by Monty Brown. Technically, he wrestled there. Jack Evans' Corkscrew 640 is number 6. And CM Punk's Pepsi Plunge, which he did not do in DNA, is number 7.
Wow. That's pretty good.
This is always my favorite one. The most disgusting promotional tactic. Now, last year, I believe it was mentioned, at least in some way, that Owen Hart's name being brought up with Vince Russo and Piper was brought into this. Well, this year, Bob, we got in the number 8 position for TNA using Lex Luger.
Is that because it's so close to like Elizabeth's death?
I think so, yeah. Yeah, but he was in 2003 too, so just coming back and being used again is like.
Yeah, but like, just because you're using them, I don't know if that's a poor taste.
Yeah. I don't know.
What are some other ones? Is JBL's like Nazi walk on there?
It's okay. Here we can.
Or was that 2005?
No, he's got. Well, is that what the?
No, it's 2004. This is with Eddie.
Goose stepping to the WWE title. That's it. I don't know if I remember that or not. Number 1 is the
that was
Kane.
On a house show.
Oh. Number 1 is the Kane Lita pregnancy wedding miscarriage storyline.
Oh my god.
Number 2 is the WWE Diva Surge.
Yeah.
Number 3 is WWE exploiting 9/11 in the Hassan angle. Number 4 is JBL, but number 5 is the Cena Carlito angle playing off the Brody stabbing, which is ironically also what they think they got from the Johnny Devine Andy Douglas stabbing.
Yeah, but playing off the Brody thing, I mean, that angle was him getting stabbed in a bar, not in the shower.
Right. I don't know
how that.
Number 6 is funny. It's Triple H push all year. That's what it says. So him being just pushed all year is apparently disgusting.
I mean, he was.
Number 7 is killing Paul Bearer. Number 9, actually, this,
Undertaker, you can save me. I'm sorry, Paul. I have to do it. And then he comes back like 5 years later. I'm not dead. Right? Doesn't he come back for the Kane Undertaker thing?
Yeah, I think so.
2010.
Number 9 is ROH lying about Rob Feinstein being out of the company. That directly relates to us, I guess, technically.
It does. It does. That's bad.
And number 10 is Vince McMahon media promo in Iraq.
What?
I don't know what that's referencing.
Media promo in Iraq?
I don't know. Probably a tribute to the troops thing or something.
Has to be, but I don't know what he's talking about.
I don't know. Next up is the worst television show. Yes, we got on the list for the best, but we're also on the list for the worst. And
No way.
twice.
What?
Impact in the number 6 spot and Explosion in the number 10 spot.
Oh, fuck off. Who the hell's watching Explosion? Fucking rated
enough to vote, yeah.
What's the rating for that? What's the order for the worst
Number 1 is SmackDown. Number 2 is Sunday Night Heat. Number 3 is New Japan. 4, AAA. 5, WWE Experience.
I did not like it.
6 is Impact. 7 is IWA Total Impact. 8 is Raw. And 9 is WWE Afterburn. And then Explosion at the end.
That's ridiculous. That is so dumb. Impact has been consistently entertaining. There is no way that show should be on the worst show of the year. The only way I could think of it being on the show is because people can't think of 10 shows.
Yeah, Yeah. Next up is the worst feud. And I think we only got a couple more of these too, but worst feud, and we only actually made it twice on this. Actually, 3 times on this list. We are in the number 7 spot with Jeff Jarrett versus Jeff Hardy, the number 9 slot with Eric Watts versus Goldilocks, and the number 10 slot with Dusty Rhodes versus Vince Russo. Number 1 is the Kane versus Lita and Matt Hardy storyline. And Kane also gets the number 2 spot with him and Gene Snitsky.
Right. It wasn't my fault.
Jesus Christ. We also made it on the worst promotion list. Wow, it just keeps getting better.
Yeah,
and we unfortunately are in the number 3 spot here. So we are in the list for the best and the worst promotion, which is like ridiculous. Number 1 is New Japan. Number 2 is Hustle. I've never even heard of Hustle.
The worst?
Yeah.
New Japan was that bad in 2004?
Guess so, man. And WWE is number 4. You want the whole list here too? Combat Zone Wrestling. Combat Zone is number 5. 6 is All Japan. 7 is World Japan. Number 8 is AAA. Number 9 is 0-1. And 10 is All Japan Women, which I've never even heard of.
That's surprising. Combat Zone Wrestling is seen as one of the worst. That's pretty funny.
Yeah.
Just because I'm sure a lot of that has to do with the stigma.
Yeah.
What's combat or is combat zone wrestling?
Right. The best gimmick. We're not really on this, but once again, I kind of reference it because people are here. CM Punk is listed number 5, but he doesn't really do his straight edge gimmick in TNA, so it doesn't really count. In the honorable mention, we do have Eba-san, who did make an appearance or a couple of appearances in TNA. It's Kikutaro. And then another honorable mention, sorry, not number anything, but Monty Brown is also listed there. And this is the last one, finally, and then we can get into the quick fun stuff to wrap us up. The worst gimmick. Where did we fall on this list? Oh, number 6, the Kings of Wrestling. Number 1. Number 1 is Mordecai. The best gimmick, by the way, I didn't say number 1. It's JBL. Which is also funny because JBL, I think did I just see him on this list? Oh, no, he's not on this one. Okay.
He's just a knockoff of Ted DiBiase. So that's funny that he's the number 1 character.
Yeah, and Mordecai's the worst.
I liked Mordecai.
I feel like I did as a kid too, but what do I remember? Okay, guys, let's do this quick rundown here to wrap us all up. I'm going to power through this, Bob. Are you ready to hear? Do you want to do stipulations first or who debuted first?
I feel like the people is way longer, so we should probably just do that first.
Okay. They are in no particular order, and I will butcher some names. And there are some people that I will try to mention that have appeared but not on TV, or it was their first in-ring appearance. So I kind of added a couple liberties in there. Starting from the top, Balls Mahoney.
I already forgot that.
Technically El Leon, even though that is Apollo, but technically the character made his debut. Abismo Negro, Hector Garza, Mr. Aguila, Chad Collier, ICP, so that's two. Too Tough Tony, Terry Funk, Roderick Strong, his first appearance on a weekly pay-per-view. Petey Williams, Jack Evans, Teddy Hart, who is, I've come to find out, was a piece of shit if you watch the documentary.
Who is getting bookings on posters that say
I don't even want
on Peacock.
I don't even want to get to it right now. Johnny Devine, Bobby Roode, D-Ray 3000, Ebasan, who is Kikutaro, Kashim Bukaman, Dean Allmark, Robbie Dynamite, Frankie Sloan, James Mason. Those are all Team UK guys. Mitsu Harai Jr., Raiju Hijikata, Tachi Ishikari. Those are all Team Japan guys from the World Cup. Onyx. Angel, who is Angelina Love, made her debut. Technically, she made an appearance in, I think, 2003, but she was like a crowd member. They didn't say her name.
She was in the crowd with Frankie.
Heavy Metal. Mensa, who is Gorgeous George. Remember that? That never happened?
I do remember
Talk about a disappointing moment. We never found out.
That's a shocking moment, too. Gorgeous George is here.
Right. Jeff Hardy, Big Vito, Dustin Rhodes, twice. Sabu's friend Mickey.
Oh my God, Mickey.
I couldn't remember his last name, but I wrote it down.
Hey, Sabu, it's me, Mickey.
It's Mickey. I couldn't remember his last name, sorry. Alex Shelley, Miyamoto, Masada, not the deathmatch Masada, it was Japanese Masada. Minir Peroth, Mascarina Sangrada, Scott D'Amore, Dallas, Mikey Batts, Alistair Rolfs, who is A1, we'll see him again. Lex Levette. Mike Posey made his in-ring debut. He's technically, he's been there, but he made his in-ring debut. Rod Steele, Mike Lorinoff, who also went by the name Mark Stevens. It's Mark Lorinoff, sorry, not Mike. Sal Renaro, Antonio Banks, who's MVP. Gabriel, Bruce Steele, Nigel McGuinness, L.A. Park. Technically, La Parka did too, but it was Eric Watts, so we're not counting it. Todd Sexton, Demetrius, who I found on Twitter. Frankie Capone, Eddie Villa, John McChesney, the Midnight Rider is of course Dusty Rhodes, but once again, kind of Adam Flash. There's one piece of shit whose name I will not say.
I was really hoping you weren't going to say his name. So good.
I literally noted not to be named. Mind you, Teddy Hart's a piece of shit, but this guy's a different level, if you ask me.
Well, I mean, what's maybe under suspicion for murder? So I don't.
Well, okay. Well, yeah. Oh, man. Okay, they're both pretty bad.
Yeah, but the other guy is like
minors and shit. Like
minors.
I don't fuck with that. Anyways, Brian Owen, Cordell Walker, Marcus Dillon, Mike Hannigan, Brian Gamble, Luther Jackson, Jason Porcaro, Eric Stevens, John Thaddeus, Nate Webb's in ring. I believe he made appearances as like Daniel's apostle guys before. Yes. Ryan O'Reilly, Scott Papper, Ruffy Silverstein. Remember him?
Ruffy.
Brian Cox. Tom Arnold, the only celebrity I was mentioning because he did wrestle or was involved in a match technically with Puppet. Johnny B. Bad, Seth DeLay, Tony Stradlin, Spanky, Parada Morgan, who's a mini, Jacqueline, Jason Static, Justin Cage, Scotty Matthews, Matt Mayer, Vance Desmond, Brandon Thomas, Marco Cordova from the final show, J-Rock, Diamond Dallas Page, and of course, the Macho Man, Randy Savage.
That's a lot.
Yeah. And to have more fun with that stuff, kind of going into the match division stuff, we had 3 America X Cup specials, 1 World X Cup special, 2 Best Damn Sports event period specials, an NWA Tag Team Title Tournament. There's a couple best of 3 series going on during the year. An NWA title mini tournament happened. And then We had some gut check matches, the Rumble for the Rank Battle Royal, 3 ladder matches, the Corporal Punishment match, a Deadly
We only had
Draw
3 ladder matches this year.
that I might have missed some, but it missed. That's a preface for all this. I could have missed something, but I found 3. The Deadly Draw.
Oh, we've had more than 3.
Did we?
Yeah, because Abyss and AJ had one.
Oh wait, no, hold on, hold that thought, because I have one written down, a different thing that written down that you might be thinking of.
Okay, go ahead.
They're not in any. I should have ordered this better. Okay, Deadly Draw, Bunkhouse Brawl, King of the Mountain. About 3 Falls Count Anywhere matches. There's been this is definitely a typo because there's actually there might be listed differently, but we had some tables matches. Tables match. Then we had a 2 out of 3 tables match. The loser loses power match. We had 4 Ultimate X matches. 2 strap matches, or one was called a Rawhide strap match, but 4 special referee matches, a 2-on-1 Singapore cane on a pole match, a guitar on a pole, the AMW Jackets ladder match, which is another nightstick on a pole match, 3 street fights, the King of the Mountain. Did I write that twice? Yes, I did. I wrote that one twice too. It's steel cage, 1 steel cage, but 3 6 sides of steel cage matches, including the loser must disband steel cage. We had the Trailer Park Trash, the Ghetto Justice match, the Ultimate Humiliation, which also then turned into the Double Jeopardy Ultimate Humiliation. We had Raven's Rules, a stretcher match between 2 females, which actually was pretty good. That should have been mentioned at least at some point, probably. But 2 Gaunt for the Gold. We had a Sicilian street fight, which of course is different than a regular street fight. The Goldilocks Gets Their Contracts match. We had 2 hardcore matches, which is once again the same as street fight. We had the Sonny Zaniaki's contract versus Goldilocks money match. And of course, then we had Ekmo's contract versus Goldilocks money. We had the country weapon match, the Irish weapons match, which was just weapons spray painted green. The loser gets fired match with David Young and Gilberti. Hangman's Horror, the X Division Dominance Tag Team Battle Royal, which we also had another Battle Royal that was to earn the 20th spot into the X Division Gauntlet Battle Royal. So those are a couple different things. We had the Monsters Ball match, Last Team Standing, and the Serengeti Survival match. It's pretty fucking wild. What a year it's been, Bob. And out of the year, to cap this all off, we have recorded, once again, over 120 hours of TNA talk. And the reason it's very similar, I didn't do a full count, but because the Impact episodes are shorter, technically 2 Impacts accounted for almost 1 whole pay-per-view. So we just said 120 plus. We don't need to get into the dirty details. Out of every show that we have watched, 59 of them we gave a thumbs up, 4 we gave in the middle, and 8 thumbs down, which is not too bad.
That's not bad.
Overall.
I thought it was.
Yeah.
So generally a positive year.
Positive year. And actually, let me just pull it up just for fun, for reference here. In 2003, we gave 24 thumbs up, 19 in the middle, and 6 down. So higher up because there's more shows. Technically, there's more down, but I think, honestly, most of those were some of the bad weekly shows before we really picked it up.
Oh, absolutely.
Bob, what a year it's been.
No, it's been that's crazy to think that we gave only 8 thumbs down.
Yeah, and I think I think one thing I want to end it with is a highlight for us, for me, interviewing the Wildcat Chris Harris. We've mentioned it on this. We've mentioned it quite a bit. It was really awesome, to the point where we didn't think it was going to happen. I mean, it was it just didn't seem like it was going to come to fruition, and it did, and it was freaking awesome. It was a really great time, and Harris shares us around a lot, which is super appreciated. He did an intro for our show, and it's just really great all around. And I'm definitely excited to have him back one day to talk more about his career in TNA. And that alone was just a huge highlight for me.
No, absolutely. I mean, as I told him when we interviewed him, I was a big supporter of Chris Harris back in during that singles run with Jeff Jarrett, and I really wanted him to win the title. And sometimes people say you don't want to meet people you look up to, or people you've enjoyed watching. But Chris Harris is a very nice guy.
Yeah.
He gave us the time to talk for like 2 hours or over 2 hours, whatever it was. Two guys nerding out about his TNA wrestling career, and he just gave us insightful answers and stuff that we never knew about, context, like what was going on in his life or whatever.
Yeah, it was super cool.
And
I'm hoping that we aren't quite done with our interview bonus episodes. Hoping that as we deep dive in here to 2005, we kick off this new year. You never know what's going to happen. I definitely know that we can. There's a couple that we for sure know we can get, and I'm hoping that will happen. And that's because of some new friends that we've made throughout the year too. I mean, Harris, he's a friend of the show now, man. It's just we joke about it a lot, but he tagged his friends in our posts and stuff. I mean,
he's a friend of the show. Bill Behrens is a friend of the show.
Bill Behrens, freaking awesome. And we made another friend and a great connection, Brian Turner, VHS Rehab. Check that out on YouTube. That was a fun connection that really Bob kind of kickstarted. He found him, and after we talked about him for a while, which was really funny.
Yeah, as I say, I found Brian Turner before he became a name.
Dude. You're in before you got big. Really crazy. It's been a crazy year. We've got new listeners. We appreciate you all, and appreciate.
We're gonna have Brian on this show.
We have to do something eventually.
And and if you guys want to talk about nerd talk, I am gonna nerd talk him to death about Nashville wrestling.
I'm gonna be sitting back and just enjoying the show when that happens.
Yeah, you're gonna be eating your Chipotle and having your little pink drink. Bullshit. And whatever else. And, I'll be sitting there being like, tell me about Chris Michaels.
Oh God. Oh man.
Stuff like that.
So. Well, to wrap us up here, Bob, I gotta get our cheap plugs in. Everyone knows, hopefully by now, if you're listening to the year in review episode, you got to be a strong supporter here. But in case you're not, in case you're new, and you just didn't feel like listening to the last 100 episodes that we just put out this year, or whatever it is, I don't even know, dude. It's a lot. You can find us over on Twitter. That's the best place to find us, at least at this point in time. At Cross the Line TNA. You can also like us on Facebook as well, at TNA Cross the Line Pod. And we're on YouTube as well. Subscribe to us we post all the episodes there as well. I know Lance is a big YouTube listener. Lance, I'm trying to keep up with the posting of the videos. You can just search Cross the Line TNA or just type in TNA Cross the Line Podcast. Of course, you can go to our Pro Wrestling Tee store and grab one of those sweet logo tees, or my favorite, the classic extreme design. ProWrestlingTees.com/CrossTheLineTNA. And please, wherever you listen to us, subscribe to us, follow us on your favorite podcasting platform. Leave us a review if you can. It really helps us out. And continue to like our posts, share us around. I mean, really, Bob, we're really getting kickstarted here. 2005, it's going to be our best year yet. I just know it.
Yeah, and I just thought about this. Lance says that he listens to us on YouTube because it saves the battery on his phone, right?
Yeah, I think that's what he said.
Like Apple Pod, which is, I think, pretty true. But I just thought about this. Why don't you just download the episode to your phone and then play it off of your...
Bob, you know what I mean? Bob, we're ending such a good episode, and you're grilling one of our fans.
I'm not grilling. I'm thinking this through. Like, if you just download it, then you don't have to put it on. You don't have to listen to Apple Podcast. You just listen to like the media player thing. I'm trying to help out. Okay, that's all I'm trying to do. I'm looking out for him.
Well, I'll let you guys handle that in the DMs.
Great.
Well, as we mentioned, January 7th, it's our first episode of 2005, and boy, is it going to be a good one. Bob, I cannot wait to get started here, and what a wrap-up we did. I think we did better than I expected. I think it was going to be a little tough, but we kind of pushed through. We remembered stuff that we forgot, and we had a great time doing it, and I'm ready for another cup of coffee.
Yeah, and we are going to be, we're 2 weeks away from Final Resolution.
That's right.
Which, the TNA pay-per-views are always fun to get to watch.
Hell
Especially
yeah.
since I've been craving to watch 2005 TNA for probably 2 years now.
Yeah, me too. You're telling me.
So, That'll be a lot of fun. All right. Well, that's been the year in review for 2004. And as Dallas said, we appreciate everybody that stuck around with us. And hopefully you guys will continue on as we head into 2005. And that starts next week. So until then, for Dallas Gridley, I am Bob Colling Jr., and this has been the TNA Cross the Line Podcast.